Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Welcome back and happy Tuesday to you. Today is actually officially our 1 year anniversary of my team and I having transitioned to working from home. And it's been so crazy because right before that, my team and I were traveling back and forth to New York filming Level Up in New York City at the beautiful Times Square NASDAQ studios. And lo and behold, we decided to try Level Up Live. And we've been going live every day that the financial markets is open, pretty much every day that the financial markets is open. And, just on top of that, it's now just a little bit less than 30 days from April 15th, which is tax day. So let me ask you, how on track are you? Have you filed your taxes already? Because if you have, congratulations on doing so. I want to say a huge hello to my friends. I see CrossX Fighter Joshua joining us from YouTube. It's amazing to see you. Robin Stevens joining us from Periscope. So many friends, all different channels, Modern Mom, YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. And if you're joining us on the replay, a quick hello to you as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been wonderful to have you with us. A big welcome also to my friends at Modern Mom, as we are also now streaming to you, so you can stay on top of relevant business news. Now let's start with the market, let you know how it closed today. The Dow closed down 127 points. The NASDAQ closed up 11, and the Dow closed down 6 as the Dow pulled down today for its recent 7-day positive run. Everything has to come to a stop now and then. Tomorrow, the Federal Reserve is expected to speak and share a policy announcement. And, investors are increasing concerned about things like, inflation and the recent increase in interest rates. They're actually climbing. And of course, wondering if they should be trimming their gains. You've probably been wondering the same thing. You might be looking at different holdings in your portfolio and wondering, Winnie, should I be taking some profit? So investors are concerned that you just don't want to be the last person holding that hot investment potato, right? You want to make sure that if you can hold long term, you want to make sure you have a plan. So if you're wondering, this is a great chance to go ahead and set up a second opinion meeting. Now, with vaccines becoming more available and the economy headed towards increasing reopening and the third stimulus check being issued and sent out, we can expect more movement and volatility in the stock market in the coming days. Those are things that you should just be expecting. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, but it is order always does. Two most important days when you invest, as you remember, is the day that you start investing and the day that you sell. And most of you should be investing in long term, but certainly this is a good opportunity to review those financial goals. There's also concern that although COVID cases have been declining here in the United States thanks to vaccines, there's been hot spots emerging. If you haven't heard already, New York City, New York area is experiencing this, upper Midwest. In fact, some of my friends in Michigan are seeing Michigan hospitals are seeing a rise in cases, and resurgence is definitely here. Also, on other news, like many parents, I'm really, really aware of this. I'm really following this closely, and that is, when are our kids going to have a vaccine option? In fact, Arizona announced recently in the news, in Arizona, many children are starting to get the Moderna vaccine. Now, it's not something that's publicly available. It started as a selected group of kids aged 6 months to 12 years old receiving the first dose of the Moderna vaccine. In this study, the children received 2 doses 28 days apart, and they plan to include children in 8 states. So if you're thinking you don't live in Arizona, you don't need to go jump in your car and start making your ways over there yet. It's also coming to California, South Carolina, and expected to come to Texas as well. And Pfizer says that they're also going to be starting vaccine trial on children as well, and they plan to conduct a trial with at least over 2,000 children ages 12 to 15, and then they're going to do a second trial for kids 12 and under. But today, you're very excited because we talked about this yesterday, for those of you who joined me yesterday, and you know that we have the one and only Samantha Ettus here with us today. How are you, Sam?
I am great. It's so fun being here. And I have to tell you that I used to be a columnist for Modern Mom like years ago. So it's just very funny. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a small world. Well, shout out to our friends at Modern Mom and one of the first columnists at Modern Mom. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here. let's just start with Sam. Sam's actually quite incredible. So I want to share this with you. She is a dedicated champion of women. Sam has devoted her career to advocating and supporting women just like us in the pursuit of their dreams. Thousands of women, from C-level leaders to admins to moms returning to the workforce, have benefited from her unique guidance. She finds that spark within each of us and turns it into a fire. I love that, Sam. And on that note, I want to say a huge hello to Tim as well and David, who's joining us. It's great to have all of you here with us. You know, she has a real gift to be able to help us with these real challenges that moms have, you know, dealing with workforce balance. She finds that spark in each of us. This is so important. I think we need more of that. We all need a little bit of Sam in our life. In Sam's quest to help women achieve financial independence, she launched something we're going to talk about, which is Park Place Payments today. A Harvard grad, Sam has become a best-selling author of not one, not two, not three, not four, but actually 5 books. And she's a renowned speaker, host of nationally syndicated call-in radio show. And her recent book is The Pie Life, a guilt-free recipe for success and satisfaction. That's my kind of pie. I feel like I need, like, you know, I see Tim, you're joining me. You know, Tim hasn't filed his taxes yet. That's okay, my friend. But this is the kind of pie that we all need. We need guilt-free recipes for success and satisfaction. She writes a popular weekly work-life newsletter and makes regular national television appearances and so much more. She also ran and hosted a leading internet talk show called Obsessed TV with the one and only Gary Vaynerchuk, and lives in Los Angeles. And she, like me, is a mother of 3. So, Sam, where have you been all our life? I'm so glad you're here with us. How are you?
I feel the same way about you, Winnie. You obviously have a spark. So how did I not meet you until today?
And we're not even that far apart. I mean, technically, if it weren't for COVID, I could probably drive to you in about 45 minutes here in Orange County. So, you know, we'll make a point after this is all good and done.
Absolutely. Yes. We'll go for a margarita when this is all over.
Yeah, I love that. All right, friends. Well, Wendy, I see you there as well. And I see Modern Mom joining us on multiple channels. You know what this means. You know, we're going to have some fun. I want all of you to participate along with Sam. I have a quote to share with you. I thought this is something that Sam would actually really, really appreciate. Let's share the quote. So this is: motivation comes from working on things that we care about. It also comes from working with people we care about. Who do you think said this quote? Now, I'm seeing you, Joshua. I feel good about this. And Tim, I feel like you're going to rock this for me today. Tell me, who do you think? Now, don't use Mr. Google, Mrs. Google right now. Who do you think said this quote? Is it Drake? Is it Tom Ford, Sheryl Sandberg, Zig Ziglar, Angelina Jolie, or Kamala Harris? Well, I don't know, Sam. What do you think? What's your guess?
I'm going to say Sheryl Sandberg just because she's corporate, so she might talk about working with people. That's my guess.
Good guess. Okay, let's see. All right, JG is saying number 3. Number 3 is also Sheryl Sandberg. Tim, I'm waiting for you. I want to see what you're saying. And Joshua, definitely want to hear what you have to say. Robin Stevens, don't be shy. I'm having a good feeling. I feel like our group is really, you know, doing well. And Tim, so great to see you. And yes, we're doing great today. Okay, Wendy is saying number 6, Kamala Harris. Well, let me just tell you, this is just a sign that this interview is going to be rocking, because, of course, Sam got it right. It is the one and only Sheryl Sandberg, a great quote, great woman. So, yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm loving this. All right, Sam, let's talk about this. I want to talk about your projects. Tell us, how have you been doing during the pandemic, and how's life for you right now?
Well, life is super busy. I am either parenting my 3 kids, and when I'm not doing that, I work full time running my company, which is growing super fast. And I also host a weekly iHeart podcast called What's Her Story with Sam and Amy, which, as you know, you just said there's a 1-year anniversary for doing everything from home. I was never used to doing everything from home. We had our office I went to every day. You know, when I made a TV appearance, I had my hair and makeup team. So everything is pretty much shocking for me these days. I'm just trying to adjust. So even though it's been a year, it's been kind of madness getting all of my employees comfortable with working from home as opposed to being together in the office. And when we signed up to do our podcast, we thought we were doing it in the iHeart studio. So we've been doing that that from home. So it's just a lot of adjustment. And luckily, my husband and I both share responsibility for the kids. So that makes it a lot easier. And I think so often one of the problems that a lot of women have is that they don't have partners who are 50%ers at home in terms of childcare and housework. And I think that you can never reach your potential unless you have a relationship that is supportive and a partner who believes in your dreams.
Absolutely, Sam. I think that's such great insight. And actually saw an interview where you shared that. I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's really important for us to understand the importance of having a partner and that it really needs to be 50-50. Sam, are the kids at home on top of everything else?
Yes. So I have, my son goes to school unless in Los Angeles, it's such a joke because we came from New York where if it's, snowing, everyone's still going to school. And here, if there's a drizzle, they call us to come get our son, or, if it's windy, they cancel school. But normally, yes, these days he's in school. He's in fifth grade. And then my two daughters in seventh and ninth grade just got back to school this week for the first time all year. And they go 2 days every 6 days. So it's just it's a constant kind of jumble. Everyone's schedule is different every day, and we're just trying to manage it. But, I feel like we're the fortunate ones. I work with so many women who have and parents in general who have kids who haven't been in school for over a year now. They might have a job that doesn't have the flexibility that mine has, where I can run my company from my house. So many people are in situations where they have to be in an office or have to be in a work environment and leave their kids at home to do school from home on their own. So it's a very difficult time for parents in general.
It is. It is such a difficult time. My three little ones are downstairs right now, and I agree with you. I'm lucky because my husband can help juggle right now. Because one of my friends this past weekend, she says they're definitely going back to school full time in the fall because I just can't handle my little one she has a 7-year-old and he's navigating between schoolwork and YouTube. And the teacher keeps shutting him down, but he keeps jumping back on. She's like, I just can't handle it anymore. So I agree with you. I think everyone's situation is so challenging right now.
And I feel badly for the kids also. By the way, it's hard for us parents, but it's even harder for the kids because they have all of the worst parts of school without all the great parts. So
right.
I feel for them.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. That is so true. Well, Samantha, you've devoted your career to women, right? And can you tell us what you've noticed in the last 5 years, especially in 2020? What have you been seeing and sort of what have you been studying?
Yeah, well, the good news, let's start with the good news. The good news is that women are recognizing how important it is to be financially independent. And one of the most risky things a woman can do for her future is to leave the workforce because it's almost impossible to ever get back in the same level that she was before. So I wrote my last book basically to encourage women to stay in the workforce. And I gave them a very positive framework for how to think about managing their life so that they didn't feel like they had to make a decision. Should I work or should I stay home? It was just a given that they would be able to do both, which is how men have had it for years. And so that was super important to me. And I found when I was on that book tour that the one group of people I was unable to help were those who had left the workforce, wanted to return, but found no opportunities. And a lot of them had started selling makeup and skincare to their friends and not even making martini money. And I thought, what's going on here? And so that's when I decided to launch Park Place, because I decided to train people with zero background in financial services to sell payment processing to their local businesses. And it's an industry that has been ripe for disruption for so long because it's very dishonest. There's hidden fees. And so I thought, okay, what if I could have this new kind of sales force, but also change the experience of a company so that they know that they're getting, the best rate from the beginning. They're getting A+ customer service and a different kind of user experience than they've had before. So it's been really successful. And I think that what's happened in the last year, which is good for us and sad in general, is the caliber of candidate that we have seen who wants to be an account executive at Park Place has just even gotten better and better because so few people are, have the opportunity really either to work full time in this crazy environment where the kids are homeschooling, or they're just, shut out. Maybe they're laid off, or they don't have the flexibility that they need. And this opportunity offers that. And so, whereas we started with this model of, okay, women who want to get back to the workforce, now it's everyone. I mean, we have, men who are 60 plus who maybe are the victims of ageism, or we have people who have been victims of, racism, sexism, et cetera. And we have found an opportunity for those people. So I do think, back to your original question about what I've seen over the last 5 years, I think the world is evolving in terms of more and more women in leadership positions, more people of color in leadership positions. And that's going to change things for people everywhere, because that really has a wonderful ripple effect, not just on economic returns, but also on the culture of companies.
I love that. That's so important. And actually, Wendy's joining us, and I see her on YouTube, and she's saying even if one doesn't leave the workforce, one can have to change industries, and that's true. Certainly. And I think the fact that you're able to bring in new hires for excellent service, you're getting a higher caliber candidate, says a lot of the current work environment, the current hiring environment, and you're seeing that. Let me ask you this, Sam. Tell me about what were the opportunities that you found that were missing that Park Place Payments really was sort of the I guess what's the evolvement of this company versus others in this space?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things I have noticed is, when you go into an industry that's been so male dominated for so long, and you say you're disrupting it, people say, but we've always done it this way. Or, the biggest pain point in this industry is that my competitors are all fighting over the same star sales guys. And I love that, because we don't have that problem. We take people from outside the industry and train them to sell payment processing to their local businesses, to the dentist that they already have a relationship with, or their neighbor who owns a boutique, or their hair salon. So they already have local relationships with these businesses. So they're just transforming that relationship into also being able to help them save money and save time with their credit card processing. So, it's been really interesting just to see the evolution in terms of people in the industry maybe taking notice of, oh, you take people from outside the industry and they are the ones who are selling credit card processing, or what do you mean you have one rate card? We always negotiate. And so it's been really fun to me to disrupt this industry, just because so many people have been in it for so long without any innovation. And it's been an opportunity for so many people. On my end, because we care passionately about helping small businesses while also giving this population of people who might have been on the sidelines an opportunity to earn recurring revenue and gain financial independence, either by doing Park Place as a side hustle or a full-time position.
That's great. That's great. So many of your sales force then get to work from home. We see a comment actually coming from Facebook from the one and only Jen Louie, who's also a very successful female business owner. She says, providing jobs and opportunities to hardworking people everywhere is a wonderful legacy to build. And that's certainly true, Sam. And so this kudos to you. And I think what you said about the payment processing industry is something that we can say about many elements of the financial industry. Male dominated. We've always done business a certain way. Why change that? Obviously, there are opportunities to make things better. And what you've done also is not only made things better, right, in your business model, but you're also encouraging and hiring people within communities and leveraging their existing relationships and giving that flexibility. So let me ask you this, Sam. Your workforce, how does your workforce differ maybe to the traditional workforce that would represent a payment processing company?
Well, all of our account executives are 1099. So they can choose to work 1 hour a week, or they can work 50 hours a week. It's totally up to them. So there's no quotas. It's based on them. We train everyone for free on Park Place Academy. And when I go to the industry conferences and talk to my competitors and say, how do you train your sales force? And I'll always say, train them? We don't train them. And then like 10% of them will say we drive around in a car with them. So there is typically no real training. And so we have an online course that trains them. And then we do ongoing training over Zoom, which we did well before the pandemic. So we were well positioned because we have account executives in all 50 states. So we now have almost 600 account executives, and we'll have over 1,000 by the end of the year. And so that's quite different. The other thing that's different is what we offer. We don't believe in the hard sale. Like I am like allergic to the Glenn Ross model of selling, which is rampant in this industry. So what we have done is we created something that we trademarked called the payment checkup. And we will offer a business a free payment checkup, and that compares their current service, technology, and pricing to what Park Place Payments has to offer. And then they can see if it makes sense to switch. So our account executive asks them like a 10-minute questionnaire over the phone or in person. And then once that's complete, they send that back to our full-time team. Our full-time team does all the number crunching. They compare their current pricing to what we offer, their current technology solution to what we offer, and their current level of service to what we offer. Then we present it back to the business within 48 hours, and they can see if it makes sense to switch. And so that's our approach in general, is helping small businesses. And so about 10% of the time we go back to businesses and say, you know what, you have a great rate, a great setup, stick with what you have. And every time, Winnie, they're like, hold on, wait a minute. You're telling me not to switch processors? And we're like, why would we want to sell you something you don't need? And they're like, no one in this industry has ever done that before. That's so strange. You know, they almost like mistrust us when we say, don't work with us. But I feel like there's no point in having a payment checkup if we can't give them an honest assessment at the end. And if I said 100% of the time you should switch, then there'd be nothing honest about our process. So we really stick to that.
That's really refreshing, Sam. And I love that. And actually, Wendy loves it too. She's joining us from YouTube, and she says, I'm excited about this business. I will have to check it out. I mean, for many of you who are listening to this, is kind of exciting because number one, you get training. Number two, you're not required you don't have quotas. So you can work around your schedule. So if you're taking care of, elderly parents, or you have to juggle, other responsibilities in your life, maybe kids are home on it. This seems like something that you're interested in. This is why we do this show. So that way you can be introduced to maybe areas that you didn't know existed. So this is exciting. Thank you, Sam, for sharing this. Let me ask you this. So when you think about the workforce and what it holds for women, we've been hearing a lot. I mean, in financial news, we're hearing case studies, cities after cities of more people right now being out of work because of the pandemic, right? And the studies show that very much so, this skews more female than male. Many capable women who want to work aren't able to work. We've had a lot of stories of parents and women who maybe got passed by because of lifestyle choices, right? Having to be caregivers to their children, maybe their parents. What are your thoughts on this? Where do you think there are opportunities, and are there any concerns that you have too?
Oh my gosh, I have so many concerns. I mean, I think it's putting a spotlight on the fact that our national policies have not caught up with where we need to be, and they're not protecting our families at all. And so it's time for, universal child care and a national paid leave policy for all parents, and pay equity. And so when those three things are fixed in terms of, us not being the last of a first world country to have these kind of issues, like we need to fix it now. And I think that a lot of politicians are taking notice. I'm very hopeful that it's going to change over the next couple of years. There's a bunch of policies that are in process right now that I think have a good shot of passing. That's going to change a lot of this. But what's really important is that we are subsidizing childcare so that women and dads can get back to work. And that's the most important thing to focus on. And what concerns me is I see a lot of people talking about, let's make mothering paid labor. And what you look at, if you look at the work of Gloria Steinem or all of the women that have come after her and really tried to change things in the workplace, that's not what they want. They want to make sure that all parents, all genders are treated equally. And so what we need to do is make it possible for everyone to afford childcare. We need to make it possible for every family to have egalitarian roles at home. You will never have equality at work if you don't have equality at home. So all of these issues are intertwined, and I am a perpetual optimist. So I do believe that what's happened, this sort of crisis we've been in for the last year, is going to permanently change policies and the way our workplaces function.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, I love to hear that, because I think so many women feel like you're in a position where you have to choose. I remember when I was working at Smith Barney and I was pregnant for the first time, and, it didn't seem like there was a choice. Number one, there wasn't an availability of working from home. That was off the table completely.
Right.
Because the systems would even allow us to work from home productively. And then, and then worrying that when you came back, if you would have your clients still
yes. I mean, I've had so many female banker friends who came back from parental leave, and then their client list was stolen basically and taken from them, or their desk was gone, or whatever it was. And I'm hoping that is, in many ways a past thing, and that things are changing. But what this did is it forced all employers, whether it's a small business like mine or a giant business like one of the banks, it forced them to adapt from work to working from home. And so what that has done in the future is it makes people realize, like, oh, actually, I can trust my employees to get their stuff done from home and to be productive because they're doing it now. And so sometimes, an outside, force or crisis like a pandemic will change the culture within our companies. And for us, I was commuting 45 minutes each way to our office every day. And now that seems absurd, right? Like when we go back to the office, I don't know that I need to spend an hour and a half every single day in the car when I know that I can be just as productive from a home office. And so I think that one of the ways this is changing things is realizing, like, as an employer, you need to trust your employees. And it's not about FaceTime. If you don't trust that you're not with them, they're not doing the work, then they're not the right employee.
Right. Right. Exactly. This is so true. I think this has been a very eye-opening experience. In fact, yesterday I read an article in the Wall Street Journal talking about this exact topic, having CEOs being quoted about where they thought the future of work would look like. And interesting enough, many of the financial firms did believe that they're like Citigroup, the CEO of Citigroup, she said that she does think that her entire workforce will be going back to the office, and that's how they best work. But then you have people like Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan, saying, you know what, hold on for a second. Actually, I think there's going to be three categories, sort of like distance learning with school, where some people will work at home completely, some people work in the office completely, and then there'll be people in the middle who will do a hybrid approach. So it'll be interesting to see after the pandemic what stays true and which CEOs sort of evolve and which ones sort of stay in the dinosaur ages.
Well, and also just like listening to you, Winnie, I'm thinking, okay, there's a whole new set of problems we're going to have, which is that if you are a woman in a firm where most people are in the office and you're working from home, are you really going to get thought of for those opportunities, or are you going to get passed over for the promotion because you're not in the thick of things? And so just like, women who don't know how to play golf can be left out of deals that happen on the golf course, there's a similar parallel to if some of the workforce is at home and some is at work, who are the ones that are really going to get thought of for, the leadership positions?
That's a great point. And those of you who are watching, I would welcome your comments on this too. I mean, Sam that's a really strong point that we should actually talk more about, because I can certainly see that if you are working from home, your employer might feel like, well, you have the benefit of being able to work from home. So I'm already giving you an additional benefit. So if I'm looking to promote someone, maybe it's someone that, is down the hall from me that I can go and collaborate with versus having to work with you through a screen. Very interesting, Sam. I think we're going to have to visit that and talk about that. And maybe that'll be something that you'll talk about in your next book. I'm excited to see that, Sam. Oh, all right. Let's have some fun. Let's do a speed round. What do you think? Joshua loves this session. Let's do it.
I love it. Ask me anything.
Well, Sam, we're so excited to have you here. You get 2 questions and 1 minute to answer them. So,
should I be nervous?
We should be nervous. It's a big deal, right? No, kidding. All for fun. But when you were a child, what did you hope to become when you grew up? And how different is that from what you do today? That would be first
So
question.
I was obsessed with becoming a newscaster, and I had my heart set on it, and that was, I thought, my path. And then I detoured from that path. Today, I would say I'm very far from that. However, I am a podcast host, and I did host an online talk show. So I would say I'm like 10% newscaster.
I love that. I love that. So I would say you're probably more than 10% newscaster, but we'll give the 90% to being like full force, amazing entrepreneur. By the way, 5 books. Let's not forget that too. All right. Question number 2, Sam. This pandemic has taught us a lot about ourselves. What's one thing that you've learned or picked up that surprised you during this process?
First of all, I am off the charts extrovert, but I really love being home a lot of the time. So maybe I'm kind of like a closet introvert or something, or homebody-ish. So that's something I've enjoyed. And the other thing I would say is my new addiction is Clubhouse. So you can all find me on Clubhouse. I'm at Samantha on Clubhouse, and I'm there a lot.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm at Winnie Sun on Clubhouse, so we'll have to meet up. I'll make sure to follow you after this show.
Moderate one of my rooms, because I have a club
so much fun
called the Leading Women Club, and you should come moderate with me next week.
It would be an honor. It'd be so much fun. I would love that. Now, those of you who are like right now, just like me, loving Sam, let me ask you this, Sam. How do we follow you? Where should we go? And of course, can we learn about like what's next ahead of you? Because I feel like you're not the type of person that just does one thing. I can see that already. So we got to be able to follow you and learn more about you. Where do we go?
So you can go to parkplacepayments.com if you are a business or someone who wants to work with businesses. We would love to have you. And then you can go to my podcast and you can listen to me every week. What's Her Story with Sam and Amy on iHeart, or you can always find me on Clubhouse at Samantha.
I love that. As Samantha, that's pretty easy to find. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for being here. It's incredible. I can't wait till after the pandemic. We'll definitely have to get together here in Southern California. That would be a treat. But in the meantime, you can catch us both on Clubhouse. That'd be really fun. And Wendy is saying she's definitely an introvert. I hear you, Wendy. I'm actually surprised, Wendy. I would think you're an extrovert. But it's been such a treat to have all of you. A special thanks also to our friends at Intuit, who are giving a really cool giveaway. Intuit's providing codes for free for TurboTax to use this tax season. Intuit is the global technology platform powerhouse that serves millions of customers worldwide with TurboTax, QuickBooks, Credit Karma, and Mint. And some of my best friends work there. Intuit believes that everyone should have the opportunity to prosper. So check out intuit.com for more information. But most importantly, if you would like TurboTax this tax season, definitely give me a tweet, a share, a post. Just reach out to me. Let me know. And of course, at TurboTax, in addition, when you reach out to us. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the amazing Sam. Once again, you got to check her out. We got to definitely have her back supporting our program. Please take a moment to share the show with someone that you care about. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. So be well, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. And join us for Tweet Chat again. Tweet Chat tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on Twitter, #Winnie Sun. As you know, we average 150 million impressions per hour, the biggest business Tweet Chat. We would love to see you there tomorrow. See you very, very soon, and take care. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Winnie.
Bye.